Right now at 5, a new grant is funding pop-up day camps.
And two artists collaborate on a mural in downtown La Crosse.
You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now at 5.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us for News 8 Now at 5. I'm Ken Kozorowski.
And I'm Emily Brown. A man who brought guns to the Wisconsin state capitol has pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor.
Joshua Plesnick is accused of coming to the Capitol in October while armed with a handgun. He was demanding to see Governor Tony Evers. He was arrested, posted bail, and then returned to the building that night, the second time with a rifle and baton hidden in his backpack. He was arrested again and charged with carrying a firearm in a public building. Online records show Plesnick pleaded guilty to that charge in May. He was sentenced to 30 days in the Dane County Jail with work release privileges.
Inattentive driving sent one boy to the hospital after a UTV crash Sunday night. That's according to the Trumbull County Sheriff's Office. According to a release, two juveniles were in a UTV on Thompson Cooley Road when it ran off the road into a ditch and down a steep embankment. The UTV hit a tree before turning onto its side. Both occupants were under the age of 18. The driver was taken by ambulance to the hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. The passenger had only minor injuries and was released to his parents.
A new mural is coming to downtown La Crosse. Amplify Health by Gunderson has commissioned two artists to create a mural on a 3rd Street wall. The artists are Nayo Medina from Kaukauna, Wisconsin, and La Crosse native Chase Gentry. Gentry says the mural will represent the fun side of downtown La Crosse and promote social cohesion. He hopes people will find something new to look at every time they see the mural. It should be completed by next week.
La Crosse area kids got to experience life as a scout thanks to a new grant funding pop-up day camps. Gateway Area Council hosted the day camp at Camp Decorah today. Kids engaged in activities like archery, fishing, first aid training, and rock wall climbing. The day camp was funded by a grant made by the La Crosse Community Foundation after multiple Compass Now reports showed 2 in 5 households rated opportunities for youth activities in the area as poor. Gateway Area Council applied for a grant to bridge this gap. They were awarded $10,000 to host multiple pop-up day camps to give area children the opportunities local scouts get to experience.
Parents want kids off the screen in the summer. They want their kids making new friends, having new experiences, engaging in new things, which is what Cub Scouting has always been about. But by offering camps like this, we're able to help meet that community need and keep kids busy with productive, fun, exciting activities.
Today was the first of 7 day camps offered by Gateway this summer. Children in 2nd through 6th grades are welcome to sign up. Parents can do that at gatewayscouting.org.
Well, just about an hour ago, I was over at Copeland Park for an interview, and my goodness, Greg, it was feeling muggy, and the gnats are something else. They were crazy.
Yeah, we were lucky that the cloud cover kept overhead, and we were just on the track of a storm just to our west because the sun was kept at bay. But that is changing for this evening a little bit. That's the rainfall that we had overnight. Pretty much a real good swap up to the north. Eau Claire up to Minneapolis. That's kind of where it's been, with a little bit of rain further south, but most areas further south have remained dry. Unfortunately, that's going to be the trend for this evening for Eau Claire. On and off showers and thunderstorm chances. Won't be all day, all period rainfall, but we'll see more of that throughout the evening with a tapering off towards 10 p.m. Notice the temperature is only 71. A big difference going to La Crosse and further south. The temperatures are coming up this evening because we have more sun. We do have a slight shot for a shower or thunderstorm, maybe clip in the area between about 8 and 9. Overall, big picture, you can see that line is forming with the front just right there, and notice the difference in the temperatures. Almost 90 to the south with cloud cover up to the north. It's barely hitting 70 degrees. Throughout the night, that is going to be the trend, really. We're going to see less clouds as we go further south, but we might get clipped by a thunderstorm as it moves north. But overall, bigger story as you go further north. That's where it's going to be throughout the night, and eventually by about 11 or 12, everything should push north. That means we're going to have a very muggy night with temperatures barely struggling to get below 75 or mid-70s. But we have the alert day for tomorrow because we have a period in the afternoon where we could see heat indexes get into that 95 to 100, especially further south you go. We'll break down what that looks like, but we do have some relief on the way, and I'll show that later in the broadcast too.
All right. Thank you, Greg. Well, more than 1,100 firefighters are battling California's largest wildfire so far this year.
The Post fire is currently only 8% contained and growing. As of midday Monday, the flames have consumed nearly 16,000 acres or 24 square miles.
Danya Backus has more from Gorman, California.
The Post Fire, burning about 60 miles northwest of Los Angeles, started on Saturday as a small brush fire that exploded into an inferno.
The crews are working really hard to get their arms around this fire.
It started along Interstate 5 near the town of Gorman and has torched one structure and several parked cars. Firefighters are encountering unpredictable winds as high as 35 miles an hour with 65-mile-an-hour gusts.
The temperatures are going to kind of hang out at that 85-degree mark, which is hot but not super hot. But I think our biggest battle is with the wind and what it decides to do.
Record rainfall is also a factor. All that rain helped to create more brush that is now drying out and turning into fuel for the flames. People across Southern California are concerned about smoke.
You can smell it really bad, like it's right down the street. And it's been kind of hard to breathe.
Doctors are urging people to stay inside.
It's not just the trees that are burning. It's not just the houses that are burning, but understand all the stuff we use for construction, all the chemicals are now airborne. So it's toxins.
About 80 miles north of San Francisco, the Point Fire in a sparsely populated area of Sonoma County is at least 20% contained. It's burned around 1,200 acres since it ignited Sunday afternoon. So far, the cause of both fires is unknown. Danya Backus, CBS News, Gorman, California.
There are currently about 11 large wildfires burning in California.
And CAL FIRE says so far they've consumed around 65 square miles of land, and this is just the beginning of the state's fire season.
Do social media sites need a warning label for kids and teens?
The recommendation from the U.S. Surgeon General and why lawmakers and medical experts say this would just be the first step.
Don't believe Tammy Baldwin's TV ads. Believe her record. Baldwin voted against $800 million for narcotic detection at our border. She voted against more Border Patrol agents, against tougher sentences for drug traffickers here illegally. No wonder overdose deaths have skyrocketed on Baldwin's watch, with cartel activity right here in Wisconsin. Two-faced Tammy, a hypocrite we can't trust. Fix Washington PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. Find yours with Ford F-150. Gas, hybrid, or all electric. Whether it's towing, powering up, or getting from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, what you choose to do with that much power is up to you. Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Now, get up to $7,400 in total savings on a 2024 Ford F-150 XLT. Only at your local Northland Ford dealers.
You're young, but your bathroom is old. I get it. I visit my kids, grandkids, my precious great-grandkids. Doesn't fit their lifestyle. Not safe. Old and ugly. You will be amazed at the transformation you can make in just a few days. New tub and shower with all new fixtures, new toilet, new sink and vanity, new flooring, at an investment much less than you might think. Call the Board Store Home Improvements today for a prompt free estimate on your new bathroom.
Stella Jones Corporation in Bangor has immediate openings and wants you to apply. They say this job takes grit, attention to detail, and ability to work as a team. Stella Jones Corporation is where safety matters and wages sustain a comfortable living. If you have what it takes and can stand behind our railroads, then we want you to apply today. $2,500 hiring bonus.
Your journey to wellness begins at Vernon Memorial Healthcare, where excellence in orthopedic care is a reality. From initial consultation to post-operative recovery, every step of the way is tailored to you. The numerous awards for orthopedic services are a testament to our entire team's skill and dedication. Your path to wellness is paved with our unwavering support and expertise. Trust us for a brighter, more active tomorrow. Vernon Memorial Healthcare.
Expect more from News 8 Now. Thanks for watching.
The U.S. Surgeon General is calling for warning labels on social media, the same way we have them for alcohol and tobacco, alerting parents that using the platforms can be harmful for adolescents' mental health.
Now, the Surgeon General says it's no less urgent than dangers like automobile safety or foodborne illness. Jared Hill has more.
The skewed and often distorted environment of social media often does a disservice to many of those children. U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy has long warned of the dangers of social media. Monday, in a New York Times op-ed, the nation's top doctor called for warning labels on social media platforms, linking their use to significant mental health harms for teens. Murthy wrote the labels would regularly remind parents and adolescents that social media has not been proved safe. In a public advisory issued last year, Murthy cited a study that found adolescents who use social media for more than 3 hours a day face double the risk of poor mental health outcomes, including depression and anxiety. Warning labels like those on alcohol and tobacco products would bump up the call to action.
I think it's helpful for kids and families to have a cue to discuss this.
Dr. Sarah Jerstad, medical director of outpatient mental health services at Children's Minnesota, explains in teenagers, the frontal lobe, or decision-making part of the brain, isn't fully developed yet, leaving young people vulnerable.
They really are going to focus on what feels like kind of the most compelling, most exciting, most interesting thing right in front of them. And sometimes that's going to have high risk to it that they're not able to fully evaluate the way an adult would.
While there are also benefits to social media, teenagers who spoke with us about this are keenly aware of the drawbacks.
Social media is like, it'll twist your mind into thinking that people are having like an awesome time because they're doing this and doing that. That also makes you feel like you're less than them.
Congress would have to pass legislation to create warning labels. Some lawmakers have voiced support, but say it's just the first step, and legal guardrails are needed to keep kids safe. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
And there is a bipartisan measure still waiting in the wings that would enact certain guardrails.
Maryland's governor pardoned tens of thousands of people convicted of low-level marijuana charges today, in the largest blanket pardon in the country's history.
Maryland legalized recreational cannabis in 2023. Governor Moore says that no one should have a black mark on their record for something that's now legal.
You cannot celebrate the benefits of legalization if you are not dealing with the consequences of criminalization.
The pardon eliminates 175,000 convictions for an estimated 100,000 Marylanders. Most of them are people of color who were disproportionately targeted by the war on drugs. According to the ACLU, black people are 3.6 times more likely than white people to be arrested for marijuana possession, despite similar usage rates.
A federal judge has blocked the Biden administration's effort to expand the scope of Title IX. That's the law that prohibits sex-based discrimination in schools. The administration proposed extending those protections for LGBTQ+ students. The new rules were set to take effect August 1st, but 6 states filed a lawsuit that challenged the provision. Today, a federal judge sided with the states, saying that for now, the new protections cannot go forward while the lawsuit plays out.
The IRS closing a tax loophole commonly exploited by complex business organizations.
The plan to stop basis shifting transactions.
And we still could see some strong, maybe some severe storms this evening, but then attention turns to the hot and humid conditions for your Tuesday. We'll time out the thunderstorms and show you how hot it might be on your Tuesday. That all coming up on your First Warn Weather Update after the break.
Working with Maxwell White was amazing. They were professional, answered all of my questions.
I give Maxwell White my highest possible recommendation.
Maxwell White did a fabulous job on our shower. 5-star plumbing service done right.
I always knew that I wanted to be a mom, and choosing that it was the right time was just a really exciting moment. It turned out that my baby had a diagnosis that would be incompatible with life. It wasn't just that my baby wasn't going to survive, but I was at risk for hemorrhaging when I delivered. I met with my doctor and we went over the risks and benefits. I made a really informed decision, just like you would for any other procedure you're going to have. I'm a nurse, and I'm an example of a woman who had to have a procedure to be able to save my life and to not watch my baby die. And now Donald Trump supports laws that could take that procedure away across this country.
54 years they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it.
Without that procedure, I would not have been able to get pregnant again. But the good news is, a year later, I had my son. If Trump gets elected again, I fear for women.
ABPAC is responsible for the content of this ad. There are trucks, and then there's the
GMC Sierra. Available with the connected driving experience and the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. GMC Sierra. It's the truck. Or get $3,500 purchase cash on select GMC Sierra models. Or get a total of $6,000 purchase allowance when you trade in an eligible vehicle.
Visit your best choice GMC dealer today.
Maxwell White celebrates servicing the La Crosse Coulee region for 30 years. Much has changed, but not our commitment to you, providing local, honest, and quality plumbing repairs and solutions. That's Maxwell White, plumbing done right.
The news continues on News 8 Now. Expect more.
The IRS is closing a major tax loophole that could raise $50 billion over a decade.
The loophole is called basis shifting transactions and is part of an ongoing effort boosted by funding received through President Biden's Inflation Reduction Act. In the transactions, complex business partnerships move money from one property to another to maximize tax deductions and minimize their tax liability. The IRS will now be on the lookout for these kinds of transactions that have no substantial business purpose other than to reap a tax benefit.
If you're trying to watch your wallet, you may want to consider buying a different type of breakfast meat. That's because bacon prices are sizzling while ham prices are cooling off. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, bacon is nearly 7% more expensive than it was a year ago, and ham prices dropped more than 6%. The rising cost of bacon largely due to demand. Experts say people are more willing to pay more for bacon than some other pork products, and that lets retailers keep those prices high.
Well, I know something else that's going to be sizzling tomorrow.
What's that?
The temps.
Oh my.
Heat and humidity coming our way.
Yeah.
That's going to be as red hot as Greg's red shirt right now.
I don't know if it'll be that hot, but we still got storms to go through this evening too. We have to keep an eye on that. Could be strong or severe. I'll show you what we're meaning by that. I still think most of them will be close to I-90 or north, but there are some indications it might be a little bit further south. Tomorrow it's just really hot, windy, and humid. It should be dry for most areas through most of the day. It's coming through the evening hour while this cold front will be approaching. So we have storms coming back Tuesday. Too early to say if they're going to be severe. The severe risk is probably further west, but if they can keep that way. Here's a new severe thunderstorm watch until 12 a.m. And right now it's indicated because we have this front approaching, a lot of unstable air given the daytime heating. The sun came out. I've really got to pay attention probably to southeast Minnesota and kind of close to that area where the potential is the greatest as this line lifts up. So we'll see. It's going to be really spotty if it does happen, because right now the line is really centered right to the north of Rochester to Winona to Black River Falls, kind of really almost going over the same area. So keep an eye on some heavy rainfall. But here's the individual cells that they're kind of keeping an eye on. We could see this kind of more of them developing as it goes on throughout the evening hour. As we kind of time that out, right now there's just a little bit of activity that comes through just north, and right now that's the area just west of La Crosse we'll have to keep an eye on. It'll kind of go throughout the night, and once we get to about 9 or 10, everything should be pushed off to the north, kind of skip through that. But we're going to keep that activity going through about 10 p.m. or so for Eau Claire, probably 11 or close to midnight to Ladysmith, but I think most of the activity should be over fairly quickly, but we will have to keep an eye. But notice these temperatures by the time you wake up. Mid-70s is going to be a muggy night for most areas, and that south wind's going to start picking up. Now tomorrow, it's going to be dry pretty much throughout the day. We will still see some cloud cover, and that'll play a factor in whether we see these warmer temperatures. So to keep an eye on that, but a lot of cloud cover. South wind will start picking up. Notice the temperatures already approaching 80 by noon, and then in the afternoon, that's when we're going to be starting to see those temperatures potentially get up to the low 90s in some areas, along with the humidity, and there's that front begins to approach, but not really until after about 4 to 5. We'll start seeing it, some activity. I think it'll be after the evening commute we'll start seeing some of that activity approach the area, but notice these temperatures upper 80s to around 90, and it will be a very warm 93 potentially by 5 to 6. So that's going to be the hottest period. And here comes that line coming through at night. It'll approach by 9 or 10, probably by Eau Claire. We'll see what this looks like as it gets closer. We could have some strong thunderstorms. I think the biggest thing will be maybe a wind threat as it comes through, but it'll be late. But overall, that's what's going to come through the nighttime. Overall, we looked at Tuesday night. We'll skip over that because that actually has already happened. But for the heat index, we kind of mentioned the temperatures there. Here's what it'll actually feel like towards the afternoon. We'll definitely be in the 90s by noon, and then the afternoon we will approach some areas mid to maybe upper 90s, given if we don't have as much cloud cover, that south wind. So that'll be kind of the danger period in the afternoon to the early evening where you'll have to stay well hydrated with the temperatures and the dew point. Heat risk kind of shows you to the south we're actually seeing even worse conditions too on the extreme level of the heat index, and that means it'll be approaching probably 100. So it will be the hottest day. The good news is once we get done with that, things should then cool down for Wednesday, but more activity. So tonight we're going to have to watch the thunderstorms throughout the evening. We could see some strong to severe, especially further north to go. It's going to be a muggy night. And then as we go out tomorrow, we have the alert day for the hot conditions. Showers and thunderstorms come back in Tuesday night. Much cooler on Wednesday, but then it gets a very wet period, basically from Wednesday night through Sunday, where we could have some significant rainfall as this front kind of sits right to ourselves. So more to come on that, but definitely stay well hydrated tomorrow.
I'm gonna need to. Yep. My goodness. And yeah, we were just pointing out the shade of red.
Yeah.
Very similar to the shirt.
It matches that heat index over there, that coloring.
Yes. This is alert.
So it is gonna be red hot alert
no,
day
listen,
tomorrow.
we're not.
Not that extreme. I'm being dramatic. Whatever.
Yes.
Greg, thanks for the update.
When we come back, a Wisconsin woman reunites with her high school class ring after losing it more than 40 years ago.
The story of how she reunited with a memento.
As cancer rates climb, Tuesday on News 8 Now this morning, we'll take a look at the emotional impact living with cancer can play on a patient and how you could assist with their recovery over time.
Proper installation of your new windows make a difference. The team at Clear Choice Window and Home Solutions are factory trained to make sure your windows are installed to last. Call or stop into the showroom for your free estimate.
Dear unbreakable spirit, you roam on paths called impossible. Own a legend, Toyota Trucks.
Right now, get 2.99% APR for 60 months on a new 2024 Tundra. Toyota. Let's go places.
Senator Baldwin says I'm not from Wisconsin. But this was my childhood home. Graduated East High. Became a Badger in '86, where I've had my company for over 20 years.
And this is where we live. It's our family home.
I'm a fourth-generation Wisconsinite. It made me who I am. If Senator Baldwin's not going to be honest with you about where I'm from, what makes you think she'll be honest with you about anything? I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
Sunken or uneven concrete only worsens with time due to changing seasons, stress on the slab, or poorly compacted soil. Your sunken concrete won't get better with time, but it will with our modern solutions. Choose American Waterworks.
They say that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Well, they are correct.
Enjoy one of our tasty steak patty sandwiches paired with a $2 medium iced coffee.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we get you outdoors because we get you. Whether you're headed across town or across the country, we get you tires and batteries, trust and care during our summer tire sale. Right now, buy 3 tires, get 1 free. Rewards members get an extra $25 instant savings on any set of 4. All power sport helmets, accessories, and covers, 10% off. And for all your power needs, Blaine's brand vehicle batteries start at $43.99. Tires and batteries, trust and care at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Dear sharp curves, Toyota has more all-wheel drive sedans than any other brand. 'Cause man, we got traction.
Right now, lease a fun-to-drive new Corolla for $219 a month. Toyota. Let's go places.
See the stories you missed or watch them again on our YouTube page. Or find us at news8000.com. Thank you for watching News 8 Now. Expect more.
A Wisconsin woman is thrilled to be reunited with her class ring she lost decades ago at the Royale Campground Beach.
In 1979, Nadine Mashinsky graduated from Stevens Point High School and received her class ring. But in 1980, she lost the ring. After more attempts to locate it in the sand, there came a point where it was just deemed lost forever.
Flash forward 44 years into the future when a Marshfield family was on vacation at the same beach and found the ring in the sand. The family posted this picture online and was able to reunite the ring with Nadine.
Not only can you still read all the markings, the stone is still in place.
My name is still engraved. My maiden name is in there. It's shiny. I don't know how it stayed like this. I even thought, well, I couldn't believe the stone didn't just fall out or something.
This moment of happenstance provided closure for Nadine as she now gets to keep her ring next to her late husband's, who graduated in 1980.
What a story.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the family probably had a metal detector, because I wouldn't expect it to just be sitting
Just popped up
on
out
the
of
ground,
nowhere,
you know?
but props to them for going through that effort. They had to do some type of targeting to get the right audience in front of this ring, you know? And the chances that she found it, I mean, I guess she saw it on social media or someone notified her about it. Like, that was just meant to be.
It was.
You know, yeah, that's like once in that, how often does that happen?
Right,
You get reunited with a ring like that.
That's the positive side of what social media has the power to do for us.
Exactly, exactly. All right, we'll have another look at tonight's forecast after the break.
Bygoff and Rohde had your back then, and we have your back now. We've been Wisconsin's personal injury powerhouse for over 50 years. Bygoff and Rohde. Serious injuries need serious lawyers.
If there's one thing we like, it's choices. Find yours with Ford F-150. Gas, hybrid, or all electric. Whether it's towing, powering up, or getting from 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, what you choose to do with that much power is up to you. Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Now, get up to $7,400 in total savings on a 2024 Ford F-150 XLT. Only at your local Northland Ford dealers.
If you're not a caregiver now, chances are you will be at some point, probably for an aging parent like Mom. When you always care, but can't always be there, that's where Nomo can help. Nomo uses simple motion and movement sensors to check on Mom's day inside the house and sends that to the easy-to-use Nomo app. Mom's in the kitchen, it shows up in the Nomo app. Mom opens the fridge, you know. Nomo doesn't use cameras. Nomo is powered by Mom's normal motion, and only Nomo lets you know when something you expect to happen didn't happen. Maybe Mom didn't open the fridge or her medicine cabinet. And with Nomo, you can bring in emergency services if needed. You care about Mom. That won't change. How you care can. That's Nomo. No more, worry less. Nomo Smart Care. N-O-M-O Smart Care.
People of another age, yep. Howdy Doody Time, the Ed Sullivan Show, the Mickey Mouse Club. You remember, getting in and out of that tub just isn't quite as easy as it once was. We make life easier for older folks like me. New walk-in shower, a personal shower, a seat if you like. Seriously, be safe. Call the board store. Let us make your bathroom safe and beautiful. Contact the board store today.
Bygoff and Rohde. We've been Wisconsin's personal injury powerhouse for over 50 years, and we have the #1 personal injury attorney in Eau Claire. Bygoff and Rohde. Serious injuries need serious lawyers.
All right, there's that line of showers and thunderstorms. We don't have any severe. The one is down in Iowa, but we'll have to keep in tune of southeast Minnesota, especially maybe northeast Iowa for some individual cells. Eventually, this line will lift north of La Crosse area by 8, more 9 to 10 as you go further north, and later on, it'll get further north towards Ladysmith. Warm, muggy night, hot tomorrow.
All right. Thanks for joining us today at 5.
We'll see you at 6.